text throughout the day, throughout the night, at all hours of the night. Like, ding, 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 ding.
Imagine this. You're sitting in a crowded bar in Sydney, the kind of place where locals unwind after a long day, laughter echoing off the walls, drinks clinking everywhere. Suddenly, a woman stands up, her voice cracking with raw emotion as she turns to total strangers and starts yelling at the top of her lungs, "Hey, guys. Let me ask you all a question. Am I crazy, or is my guy living with another girl and getting financially supported by her? Be honest, is that crazy?" The whole bar goes dead silent for a split second, then erupts into awkward murmurs. Joshua's face turns bright red with embarrassment, his friend Nat looks furious, and Elise is standing there, tears streaming down her face, pouring out every ounce of hurt and distrust she's been carrying. It's one of those moments that makes your heart race because you can feel the relationship crumbling right in front of you. Man, if you're not already subscribed to Talent Zone updates, hit that button right now and turn on notifications because stories like this, real, messy, emotional roller coasters from 90 Day Fiancé, keep dropping, and you don't want to miss a single one. Let's rewind a bit so you can feel every layer of this chaos, because what started as a hopeful international romance between Elise and Joshua has turned into a full-blown explosion of trust issues, past traumas, and blurred boundaries that left everyone wondering if these two were ever meant to be. Picture Elise first arriving in Australia, excited but already carrying the weight of her own history. She's been through heartbreaks before, relationships where she gave everything only to feel sidelined, where financial stress mixed with emotional neglect left scars that made her hyper-aware of every little red flag. Joshua seemed different at first, or at least that's what she wanted to believe. This guy with big dreams, talking about his boat company and building a life together, even if things had hit some rough patches lately with his business crashing. But from the jump, something felt off. Joshua had casually mentioned living with his close friend Nat, a woman, but downplayed it like it was no big deal. "She's just helping out with rent sometimes," he'd say. Elise tried to play it cool, but deep down, that seed of doubt was already sprouting. Fans on Reddit have been tearing this apart for days. One thread in our 90 Day Fiancé fans was blowing up with comments like, "Elise isn't crazy, there's definitely something weird about Josh and Nat's setup. Who lets their friend cover bills like that while pursuing a serious relationship?" Others were harsher, "Girl, pack your bags and go home. These red flags are waving harder than the Australian flag at the Olympics." Over on Instagram, the reels of that bar meltdown got thousands of reactions, people commenting, "This is giving major Me Too energy, not in a literal sense, but that relatable struggle where a woman finally snaps because she's tired of being gaslit about boundaries that feel crossed. We've all been there, right? That moment in a relationship where your gut is screaming, something's not right, but your partner keeps saying you're overreacting, making you question your own sanity. It's exhausting, it's human, and it hits home for so many of us watching from our couches." As the days ticked by in Sydney, the tension kept building like a pressure cooker. Elise and Joshua's conversations started innocent enough, talks about the future, fixing his boat business that had taken a major hit, but every mention of Nat brought the storm clouds rolling in. Nat wasn't just any roommate, she was texting Joshua at all hours, they shared living space, and yeah, there was that financial support angle that made Elise's stomach turn. "Why does she have this hold on you?" Elise would ask during their quieter moments, her voice laced with that mix of love and fear. Joshua would brush it off, saying their friendship was platonic, that Nat was just being a good friend during his tough times. But Elise couldn't shake the feeling that this wasn't just friendship, it felt intertwined in ways that threatened everything she was trying to build with him. Then came the night that changed everything. Joshua thought he had the perfect plan to smooth things over, get Elise and Nat in the same room for drinks at that bustling bar. "Let's all talk it out like adults," he probably figured. Poor guy. Elise showed up already on edge, the distrust from days of half-answers bubbling under the surface. The conversation started civil, but you could see the cracks widening with every word. Elise laid out her feelings, how uncomfortable it made her that Joshua was still tied so closely to Nat, financially and emotionally, especially while they were supposed to be focusing on their own connection. Nat defended herself fiercely, insisting there was nothing inappropriate, that she was just helping a friend in need. Joshua sat there, caught in the middle, looking more and more uncomfortable as the volume rose. And then, boom. Elise couldn't hold it in anymore. She stood up, heart pounding, voice shaking but loud enough for the entire bar to hear. She turned to random strangers, people just trying to enjoy their night, and started polling them like it was some kind of twisted relationship court. Am I crazy for thinking this is weird? My boyfriend lives with her, she helps pay his way, and I'm supposed to be okay with that. The embarrassment on Joshua's face was palpable. He hated confrontation, and here was his girl airing their dirty laundry in public, dragging innocent bystanders into their mess. Nat was livid, calling Elise toxic and psycho before storming out. Joshua. He was mortified, sitting there wondering how it all spiraled so fast. Social media went wild after that clip dropped. Instagram stories and Reddit threads were flooded with takes. Elise embarrassed him so bad, no wonder Joshua looked done. She's fighting for her peace, but girl, that wasn't the way. Me too, I stayed in a situation way too long because I ignored my instincts about, just friends, who were way too close. It eats at you until you explode. That public meltdown wasn't just drama for the cameras, it exposed the deep-rooted incompatibilities. Elise's past traumas made her crave security and clear boundaries, while Joshua seemed allergic to the tough talks, preferring to keep things surface level and avoid rocking the boat. Ironic, given his actual boat troubles. The days after the bar incident were pure tension. Elise woke up one morning to find Joshua had already slipped out, leaving her spiraling alone in the apartment. I just want to go home, she cried to the producers, tears flowing as the weight of it all hit her. When Joshua finally walked in and saw her breaking down, instead of comforting her, he noped right back out the door. That avoidance spoke volumes. Elise chased after the confrontation she needed, but Joshua was pulling away harder with every heated exchange. He told the cameras later that he felt like he was falling for her at one point, but after the public embarrassment and constant questioning, he was exhausted. I'm done, he basically signaled, choosing to check on Nat instead of standing by Elise in that moment. Throughout it all, the complexities of their intertwined worlds kept surfacing. Joshua's crashed business leaving him vulnerable, the social circle in Australia that included Nat as this constant presence, the financial threads that blurred lines between friendship and dependency. Elise wasn't just jealous, she was fighting against a setup that made her feel like an outsider in her own relationship. Fans picked up on it too, with comments pouring in. Joshua's playing both sides, keeping Nat for stability while stringing Elise along for the romance. This reminds me of my own breakup where the best friend was the real issue all along. The arguments kept escalating in private too. Elise poured out her heart about needing transparency, about how past relationships had left her distrustful and how she refused to repeat those patterns. Joshua would defend the friendship, saying Elise was creating drama where there was none, that her reactions were too much. But you could see the fundamental clash. She wanted emotional depth and loyalty that felt exclusive, while he seemed content with looser connections that kept his life afloat. It was like watching two people speaking different love languages, but with the volume turned way up and cameras rolling. As the episode unfolded, more layers peeled back, the way Joshua would rather walk away from conflict than dive into fixing it, the way Elise's explosions came from a place of built-up pain rather than pure anger. Viewers on platforms everywhere debated it endlessly. Was Elise overreacting, or was she the only one seeing the truth? Was Joshua hiding something deeper with Nat, or was Elise's insecurity torpedoing a salvageable romance? The gossip was non-stop, with everyone relating it back to their own Me Too stories of that one relationship where trust eroded slowly until it snapped in a spectacular fashion. But here's where the story takes its darkest turn, the shocking secret that nobody saw coming until the very end, the one that makes you rethink everything you just watched. All those public fights, the bar meltdown, Joshua pulling away, it wasn't just about Nat being a supportive friend or Elise having trust issues from her past. Deep down, buried under the financial help and late-night texts and platonic living arrangement, was a revelation that hit like a freight train. Joshua had been leaning on Nat in ways that went far beyond friendship, including moments where their bond had crossed emotional, and possibly physical, lines long before Elise ever entered the picture. That support wasn't just rent money, it was a safety net woven with history that Joshua never fully disclosed, leaving Elise fighting shadows she couldn't even name until it was too late. No wonder he was done so quickly. He wasn't just embarrassed, he was exposed. Phew, what a wild ride, right? After everything, the tears, the yelling, the public spectacle, do you think Elise was right to explode and demand answers, or did her approach push Joshua away for good? Or maybe the real question is, in a relationship full of blurred lines and avoided truths, can trust ever be rebuilt once it's shattered in front of a whole bar full of strangers? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one and love hearing where you stand on messy 90-day drama like this. If you felt the emotion in this story, smash that like button, subscribe to Talent Zone updates for more gripping recaps and updates, and share this video with a friend who needs to see it. Hit the bell so you never miss when the next explosion drops. Thanks for watching, fam. Stay real, stay tuned, and remember, your gut feelings deserve to be heard. See you in the next one.
What do you think? Comment below. Thanks for watching and I will see you in the next one.